If you are a leader and you are happy being an average leader, then this may not be the video for you. This video, we're going to talk about a characteristic that can truly set you apart as a leader. This video, if you clicked on it and you're still watching it, it means that you are meant to be here. And we're going to talk about charisma. Charisma is a attribute that will differentiate you from being an average leader to an exceptional leader. And if this sounds like a topic you are interested in and you want to go to that next level as a woman in leadership, then I encourage you to stay here, watch this video in its entirety, because I'm going to share with you not only why charisma is important, but I'm also going to share with you strategies that will help you to start developing charisma. I know when you hear the word charisma, there's so many thoughts that come into mind, right? So let me know in the comments below, when you hear the word charisma, what do you think about? Who comes up for you in terms of potential leaders, maybe people you work with, and etc.? Who are those charismatic individuals? Because we're going to talk about charisma and help you to be able to start to enhance this skill in your journey as a leader. Now, this channel focuses more on advanced level communication skills and strategies for exceptional leaders. Now, in my executive coaching practice, I specifically work with women in leadership. However, on YouTube and on Instagram and on LinkedIn, etc., I have other people that watch my content that are not in my target audience, and I welcome you all being here as well. They may be women that are not leaders yet, or they may be men in leadership. I appreciate you all being here and spending some time with me today. I guarantee you that even though you may not be in the audience that I serve in terms of one-on-one executive coaching services, you will gain a lot of insight here, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have, whether you are in my target audience or you are not in my target audience. I appreciate you, because ultimately, some of the topics I share with you truly do transcend gender as it relates to leadership. And you're going to learn a lot of information regardless of what gender you are or where you are on your journey in terms of leadership. If you're watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, friend, and I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you being here today. There's typically a point in time on YouTube in terms of the lives when people will start to join the conversation. And when they do, give me just a few moments. Let me say hello to everyone. And we're going to dive into charisma today. Are you ready? This is a video where you want to get a pen and paper and take some notes, because if you have ever wanted to be that very charismatic leader, this is the place for you to be at today. Welcome, welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. And if you are ready to learn about how to develop charisma, let me know in the comments below. We have Abu. I'm gonna spell your name because I think I'm gonna not say it correctly, and then I don't want to say it incorrectly. We have Abu Bakar -C7E4G. Welcome, friend. I hope I did not mess up your name too much. If I did, I'm so sorry. But welcome, friend. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. Let me know what you all think about charisma. Is this something that you think about as a leader? Is this a topic that comes to mind? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you being here. All right, so you said, no, that's good. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate you, friend. Let me know if you have any questions as it relates to developing charisma, because we're going to go into it. We're going to go into it today. And as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, some of you may have missed it. This is a video if you are seriously ready to elevate yourself as a leader. This is one of those videos you do not want to watch if you're trying to be the average leader. This is not for average leaders. This charisma and developing it is something that will make you stand apart from everybody else as a leader, and that's what I'm talking about here on my channel. Thank you for the heart emojis and the smiley faces and the 100s, friend. All right, so we have Silvis LVI2811, welcome, welcome from Indonesia. Welcome, friend. How are you? Glad you're here today. We have JJDO8, welcome, friend. How you doing today? And Abu Bakar -C7E4G. and says, okay, a couple of things. Well, one of the things that actually comes up a lot when people talk about charisma and etc. It's almost like executive presence. Like you just do not know what it is. And the reason why people struggle with executive presence, and if you have struggled with executive presence, then feel free to subscribe to the channel because I talk a lot about executive presence and those very high level communication skill strategies to help you accelerate your growth as a woman in leadership or as a man in leadership and etc. Time Hold VRGT, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know which part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. Now let's talk about charisma. Are you ready? Charisma is very, very important. And oftentimes people don't know, you hear the word charisma, but what does it mean and how do we get it? How do we obtain it as leaders? It's similar to executive presence. It has very complicated definitions sometimes that go with it. And then it's often not explained to us in a way where it's actually attainable. It's actually something you can start to develop as a skill. Executive presence, I've seen different definitions of it. I've seen formulas and hypotheses and long definitions. And these type of strategies, these next level leadership skills, do not have to be that complicated. Oftentimes when you're hearing about some of these terms, it is coming from people who have maybe not developed it or mastered the skills themselves. And so their default is to talk about something academic from their background or going to school and etc. Well, in this video, this channel, I share with you over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, as a director, as a manager, as a public speaker, and an executive coach to help you fast track your career success. I have been in those very challenging situations and I know how hard it is being a leader, and I'm really here to support you on your journey in any way that I can and bring you real strategies, real techniques. That's what it's about on my channel, and helping you to become that exceptional, elevated leader that can communicate calmly and confidently and concisely under pressure. So if that sounds like something you want to learn more about, give me a thumbs up. It allows the video to go out to other people. So let's talk about it. So charisma, as we mentioned, is very, very important. Very, 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 very important. And so Victoria Almeida -NAV, welcome friend. How you doing today? Thank you for joining. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you're joining from today. So charisma itself is a very challenging topic. Sometimes it can be. But let's talk about charisma. So when you look up the definition of it, I glanced at the definition of charisma earlier this morning. I had a live where I talked about it briefly. And when I looked at the Oxford Languages Dictionary of the word charisma, the Greek form of it, or the Greek meaning of it, is favor or gift. And when we go into the Oxford Languages Dictionary on the word, the definition, and I'm not reading it verbatim because I don't have the definition memorized, but overall it says your ability to inspire devotion from others. And leadership is a part of that. Because when we are wanting to be those very inspirational leaders, we want to inspire other people. Now, for those of you who are joining, whether you're watching replay or live, let me know in the comments below, who are some leaders that inspire you? Who are some leaders that inspire you? And why do they inspire you when they speak? Let me know in the comments below. I guarantee you some of those leaders that inspire you have a little bit or a lot of charisma. I'm sure they do. So let me know in the comments below, and I may do a video on those leaders specifically. Just let me know. Now, we talked about charisma definition, inspiring devotion to others. What are some strategies that we can start to implement in our day-to-day conversations about charisma to help build up this character trait and build up this skill that many people do not master? Now, before I go into that, we have, let's see, who is this? We have Jago Anya Papa. If I said that wrong, I'm so sorry, friend, but I appreciate you being here today. And let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. And if you have any questions about how to develop charisma. Now, there are several strategies we can use to develop charisma. And I do want to preface this by saying a disclaimer. If you are trying to be the average leader, then charisma is something that is not on your list of attributes and skills you're trying to master. Typically, when you are an average leader, you're checking off boxes. The boxes are as follows, and this is from my over 20 years of experience, and as a very brief guide, this is not everything you need to be an average leader, but these are some of the things at the top of the list as it relates to how you communicate. One, average leaders, and I'm saying average leaders, will be able to speak in public. They will have some form of public speaking. They're comfortable speaking in public. They may have done some public speaking classes. Maybe they joined Toastmasters like I did many years ago. And I love Toastmasters, by the way, just so you know. I love it so much. I completed my Distinguished Toastmaster with Toastmasters International. So it still is a great organization. But I'm talking about, there's other leaders that are doing more and above average in Toastmasters, but I'm just talking about the basic things leaders are going to have if they're average leaders. They're going to have some public speaking experience. They're going to be able to speak in public to other people. The second thing that average leaders will be able to do is they're going to be able to speak in a concise way. They're going to speak relatively in a concise way and be very articulate in how they communicate to other people. Third, leaders typically, and their average leaders, are able to express themselves in writing and verbally in different settings. So these are basic communication skills that average leaders have. Now, is there anything wrong with being an average leader? No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with being an average leader. And if you so happen to be an average leader right now and you're okay with being there, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, this channel is specifically for individuals who are not wanting or have a desire to do more than be just an average leader. They're trying to become exceptional. So this is why you're hopefully watching this video and subscribe to my channel, because this is what I talk about here. Different types of communication strategies that will help you to be an above average leader. Now, when you think about charisma, is charisma something you have to have as a leader? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think you have to have charisma as a leader? Let me know. What are your thoughts in the comments below? Let me know what you're thinking. I will share with you from over 20 years of experience in the leadership world, you do not have to have charisma as a leader. It's not required. It is definitely not something that is mandatory. However, if you are trying to be an exceptional leader, you will want to start to develop your charisma. So let's talk about how can we strategically develop charisma. And I want this to be helpful to you all, because I know oftentimes on YouTube, when we look up charisma, it's a lot of, I would say, fluff, so to speak, because it's not really tangible strategies in terms of what you can do to start developing it. So we're going to go into that now. The first strategy I want to share with you in terms of how you want to develop charisma as it relates to your role as, let's say, a woman in leadership, maybe perhaps you're a man in leadership or a woman that is trying to be a leader, then you first, I talked about this morning in my live, you first want to really think about what it is that you are incredibly passionate about in your role that you are in right now. Let's go into this. If you are currently in a leadership role, or maybe you're not, or maybe you're working on it, what is it? What is it about your role, about your profession, about your industry, about your business that you are so incredibly passionate about that you could talk about it all day? Literally, all day you could talk about it. I have my things personally in my business I could talk about all day. So there's things about my business that I'm incredibly passionate about, and speaking and public speaking is one of them. So you have to determine what is it that you are incredibly passionate about that makes you just want to talk about it all the time. Now, let's get that topic, that title, and have that as something we can use to start building those fundamental blocks that we need to elevate your level of charisma that you're showcasing to other people. Charisma is a great way for you to really stand out, as I mentioned earlier. And people that stand out are the people that are promoted, people that get raises, people that start businesses, people that start nonprofits, they start these huge organizations. They just stand out because there's something about them that inspires devotion to others. So you have to start working on you first. That's the number one part of developing charisma. You have to find out what is it that makes you happy, what makes you passionate. Now, I do want to say that if you are in a role, in a position where you can find nothing, zero, nothing, that you are really passionate about and you would love to talk about all day, then friend, it might be a time for you to do some reflection or contact me as your executive coach, because we really need to think about, why are you in this position? Is this a position that you still need to be in? Is this an industry that you need to be in? That's something that we can work through in an executive coaching session. So we've talked about a couple of strategies there. Alrighty, so we have what's important to you as a person. What can you talk about? What is your passion? Because when you naturally talk about these subjects to other people in terms of what you're passionate about, that charisma will start to show through. Now we have another person that is joined. I don't know how to say the name because it's in a different language, but welcome, friend. You know who you are. I'm glad you're here today. Let me know what part of the Big Beautiful World you are joining from today. So we've talked about, what are you passionate about? That helps to bring out that charisma, because what you're passionate about in your role specifically is something that you can bring a lot of excitement to when you're talking to other people about your specific topic. The second strategy I want to share with you is to work on your energy. Now, as I mentioned before, when we talked about the definition of charisma, according to the Oxford Languages Dictionary, it has a portion in there that talks about inspire devotion to others. How can you inspire devotion to other people? Well, in order for you to inspire people, guess what, friends? They need to like you. And sometimes as a leader, everybody is not going to like you. Now, that's a conversation for another day, but in the purpose of charisma, this is something that's important. And before I go into that, I want to say hello, Dad of 8689. Welcome, friend. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know what part of the Big Beautiful World you are joining from today, and if you have any questions about how to develop charisma as a leader. This is the place for you to ask those questions, because we're going to work on that today. Now, we talked about the second strategy is energy. So you have to manage your energy when it comes to having conversations. And this is something you have to be relatively consistent with. Now, do you have to be the most high energetic state all of the time? No, there are people that are like that, but you do not have to be. However, when it comes to you having a conversation with someone else about something in your career or in your specific industry or in your specific discipline or in your business or in your organization, and et cetera, there has to be a certain amount of just energy, like excitement that you have about this topic, which is why the first strategy I shared with you is so important. It's so important. You have to understand what makes you excited. What are you passionate about? So then we go to step 2, and that's working on your energy. So you want to be very energetic as best as you can about your role that you're in, specifically if it's a project you're working on, etc. In order for you to inspire devotion to other people, they need to feel you. Does that make sense? They need to feel your excitement. They need to feel your energy and say, yes, I want to work with this person. She is amazing. He is amazing, etc. That's how you start to build your charisma, because people have to have some sense of devotion, like they want to work with you. And no one wants to work with someone who sounds like they could care less about them, or they could care less about the role that they are in. You don't want anyone, that's not inspiring devotion to anyone. People will bypass you and say, oh, I don't want to work with her. She's horrible to work with, or he's terrible to work with. That's not something you want to do. Now, specifically for the women in leadership that I work with in my direct target audience, charisma and being consistent is really, really important, because a lot of times what happens in these situations is that we're in different types of roles that we may be the first in a role. So we have to showcase ourselves as that person is very charismatic. So something came in on the chat. Dad of 8689 says, I love your videos. Well, thank you, Dad of 8689. I appreciate you. And hey, I hope you're a subscriber. I hope you are. And I appreciate the love for the videos. Let me know what topics you want to learn more about, because I'm here to really help you all on your journey as leaders. As I mentioned earlier, if you clicked on this title, then that means you're trying to be an exceptional leader, an exceptional communicator that stands out from everybody else. So if you have topics specifically that you want to learn about, Dad of 8689, put them in the comments on this video or on any of my videos. I do read them personally. I do not have someone reading them. I actually read them. And let me know what else you want to learn about as it relates to leadership and really communicating at that higher level than your peers. I'm here to support you, and I appreciate your support and glad you stopped by today. So we talked about a couple things. So we did talk about energy and charisma. Energy and charisma, people they got to feel you. They got to feel that energy that, oh yes, I like this person. Yes, I want to get started. I know we can do something. I know we can work together. So they need to feel that energy. So now we talked about energy. Now we're going to go into the third strategy, which is critically important. As I mentioned, we had 2 so far. For those of you who just joined, welcome. The first strategy is to determine what you are passionate about as it relates to your role, your discipline, your industry, your business, etc. Second is you have to manage your energy. What is your energy like for this role? Are you really excited? Are you showing that you're excited? Are you showcasing that excitement? It's very important for you to do this specifically. Now, third, when it comes to building charisma, you have to put yourself in a situation where you are able to speak about a topic in a way that engages your audience. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning, for those of you who did not watch, we talked about the very basic communication skills that average leaders have. Average leaders can speak in front of a group of people, but those very charismatic leaders are the ones that can just engage the audience. So how do we do that? How do we engage the audience? One, you subscribe to this channel. That's number one. You have to subscribe to this channel if you really want to learn, because there are different strategies that you can do to engage your audience, and I go over those here on my channel. Check out my live tab and some of my pre-recorded videos. But engaging your audience is really important in terms of being charismatic. How do you do that? You can ask your audience open-ended questions, or you can ask your audience, and these are strategies I share with my clients in a one-on-one private executive coaching session that I'm sharing with you now. You can ask open-ended questions to your audience. You can ask by a show of hands questions just to get the audience engaged in what you're saying. These type of strategies help to bring the audience in. So remember, we're building our charisma. We first started working within. So we work within to determine what specifically are we passionate about that we could talk about all day. Then we went into, okay, I could talk about this all day. What is it about this role that I am very energetic about it, really excited to talk about, and how can I share that excitement to my teams or who I'm individually work with? And then third, we talked about how you can really start to engage your audience, really engage your audience. And these are skills I'm sharing with you that average leaders may not do. You don't have to engage your audience. You can simply speak in public and not engage your audience. But if you're trying to be more charismatic, this is the way to do it. Now, I want to know from you let me know who are some leaders, maybe in your country, or not even leaders, maybe people you look up to that you feel are charismatic, and why? Why do you think they're charismatic? Let me know in the comments below, because this will be a great opportunity for us to learn from each other so that we can start seeing what are some trends that we see in everyday people. I'm not talking about your superstars, your celebrities, or your actors, but everyday people in terms of how they display charisma in one-on-one conversations, perhaps in meetings, and etc. So let me know in the comments below, who are the individuals that you think of when you consider the word charisma? And what challenges are you having as it relates to charisma? Let me know in the comments below. So we talked about several strategies to help you build charisma. Now, another strategy that I want to add also as more of a bonus as it relates to adding charisma to your skill set that you're trying to develop as a leader is to alter your tone of voice in certain situations. This somewhat relates to energy, but I'm speaking to you more from my 20 years of experience as a public speaker. Your tone of voice is very important if you are trying to build charisma. It is very difficult difficult for you to be able to showcase charisma as a leader if you talk the same tone of voice all of the time. As I mentioned, you are not watching this video to become and stay the average leader. No, no, no. You are watching this video so that you can elevate to the leader that you want to be. And being able to manage your tone of voice is critically important in this. Why? Your tone of voice ties into energy a bit, but your tone of voice helps to either lighten a mood, bring energy to a mood, or it helps to bring sadness or seriousness to a conversation. And if you're trying to be charismatic, this is something you have to learn how to do. Now, you may be wondering, well, Dr. Jacinta, I don't know how to do that. I'm not quite sure what I should do. Then if you are in my target audience in terms of who I provide executive coaching services to, women in leadership, then reach out to me for a strategy session in the description below. Let's just have a conversation very briefly about where you are and where you want to be. And we can talk about some of those strategies that will help you to be able to start learning how to elevate and lower your voice depending on what you're talking about. If you're not in my target audience and you're a man in leadership, maybe you're a woman that's not a leader just yet, or maybe you're a man that's not a leader just yet, it's okay. I'm here to support you on my channel. I go live here Tuesday through Friday to help you. I want to support you. And if you have questions, just let me know. But there's several live videos I have here on my channel that talk about tone of voice. And you'll want to check some of those out and spend some time on the live tab. That's where I spend a lot of my time right now for the time being, because I'm going to do a little bit more on the recorded side here very soon. But this is a topic that you want to master. And if you think tone of voice is not important, then you are going to stay at the average leader level. I'm sorry to say it, and I do not want to offend anyone, but your tone of voice is important. If you're trying to be that exceptional leader that I know you're trying to be, because you clicked on this video. The titles of these videos that I have on my channel are not meant for just average leaders. So I know if you're watching it and you're still watching this video, I know you're already at another level, friend. You already are. So I want to help you go higher. I want to help you go higher. Feel free to use my experiences that I've had. I've been on the news. I've given congressional testimony in Florida. I have interacted with congressional leaders here on the national level here in the United States and locally on the state level here in Florida. And I've been in those situations where you have to show some charisma in order to really get things accomplished and have those conversations. And I'm here to just share what I have. If I can help you all in any way, shape, or form, even if it's just a small amount, then my mission here is complete, and that makes my day. So we talked about several strategies today. We've talked about 4 strategies. Now, if you want me to go into more, then you need to let me know. But the 4 strategies we talked about as it relates to developing charisma is, number 1, you have to come from a place of what are you passionate about? What do you like learning about? What about your career do you love, or your profession do you absolutely just could talk about all day? Number 1. Number 2, we're going to work on, what was the next thing? We talked about how you have to really manage your energy. Manage your energy. Then you have to really work with yourself to get where you're at. So let me see, something came up on the chat. Oh, Jude Jameson. Well, welcome back, friend. Hope you're doing well. Jude Jameson says, I'm back and I'm at Chili's. Okay, well, I just went to Chili's with my kids last weekend and we had fun. So welcome back. Glad that you are here. Jude Jameson says, I don't know if you know what that is. Yes, Chili's is a restaurant here in the United States. I just went there with my kids last weekend. So yes, I know Chili's. Chili's is pretty good. So appreciate you being here, Jude Jameson. Glad you're here. We're just talking about strategies as it relates to developing charisma as a leader, and we're just highlighting a couple of strategies. And if you have any questions specifically as it relates to how to develop charisma, then let me know. So Jude Jameson says, I have to go. No problem, Jude Jameson. We talked about a lot of strategies here. And let's see, Jude Jameson says, my internet sucks. Well, I'm sorry about your internet, but the replays will be here for you, friend. It takes a little bit of time for YouTube to upload them. I'm noticing that, especially for the lives, It takes a little bit. So just join us whenever you can, or take a look at the replay. We do talk about some really great information as it relates to charisma that I think will help anybody trying to go to that next level in terms of how to communicate, which I know G. Jamison wants to do that because he is a subscriber to the channel. So welcome, friend, and hope you have a fantastic weekend. Appreciate you coming back, and take a look at the replay whenever you have better internet. So I understand. So we talked about strategies as it relates to charisma. There's a lot of things that we covered today. We covered your passion, coming from your place of passion about your role, your discipline, your industry, and etc. We also talked about how you want to manage your energy, make sure you're very, very excited about what you're saying. We've also talked about how you can put yourself in a situation where you're managing your tone of voice and then making sure you're being consistent. We've talked about a lot here in the channel, and I appreciate you all for being here. I hope this information helps you, because I understand how challenging some of these topics can be. When you hear words like executive presence and charisma and etc., you just think to yourself, well, how do I do that? These words, these strategies, these attributes, they sound fantastic, but how exactly do I do it? And that is the reason why you subscribe to the channel, because I talk about actual strategies that will help you be able to do these type of attributes and be able to gain them, because many leaders and many people, when they're talking about it, they talk about these topics from a place of, I've helped people be charismatic, instead of they've actually lived it. I've actually lived it and I've done it. And that's why I can explain it to you in the most non-technical way as possible, so that you can actually start mastering these skills and start to elevate yourself as a leader. Now, imagine your communication journey is like a snowball and it's rolling down the hill. The very beginning, right, it's not that big, but as it rolls down, it gets bigger and bigger. And so if you subscribe to this channel and you listen to the content or have questions for me, you will notice that your communication skills will start to snowball. You'll start to pick up on small aspects of communication that you think, oh, okay, I know how to master eye contact now. I know how I can manage silence in a conversation. I know how to control my facial expressions under pressure. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. All of these aspects of communication becomes a big snowball. So if you're a woman in leadership and you are ready to go to that next level, then contact me for a strategy session. Let's have a conversation about it. If you know that you are at a point where you're trying to make this big overall change in your life in terms of how you're communicating, because you know you're struggling. Maybe you've missed out on some opportunities in your professional career. Maybe you've missed out some opportunities recently and you know you could have done better if you communicated better. Then you may want to contact me for my transformative leadership program called the Real Executive Woman, to learn more about your skills and how you can really just develop yourself and really accelerate as a leader. It's a big program. It really helps you communicate at the highest level. And if there's something you're interested in, just let me know and contact me on DM at Dr. Jacinta Lamantai and at XI Excellence on Instagram and on LinkedIn also. And of course here on YouTube, you're welcome to contact me. So I'm really, really excited for you all. Let me know if this information was helpful to you. What was your favorite strategy that I shared with you today as it relates to charisma in leadership, especially? Let me know what you found that was very helpful. And remember, women in leadership, many times you're going to be the first woman in these type of higher level senior type roles, senior executive roles. And how you interact with other people really does define you as a leader, and it helps to set up your executive presence. And charisma is a skill that you absolutely want to start to develop in order to become that very exceptional leader that inspires devotion from others. Let me know if you have any questions about this topic. Feel free to like this video if you liked it and subscribe to the channel if you are really serious. And I mean serious. I don't talk about fluff. I talk about serious business here on this channel to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers. I appreciate every one of you being here today. Jude Jamison, thank you for coming back. And Dad of 8689, I appreciate your support and love for the videos. I'm here really to support you. I tell this all the time on my channel. People become great by how they communicate. And so my role, my mission here on this earth is to unlock the greatness within you. And I do that by helping you to master these very advanced communication skills that will help you to set yourself apart from everybody else's leader so that you can communicate confidently and concisely under pressure. All right, we have Empire de Neuville, France. Hello, friend. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Let me know what part of the Big Beautiful Word you are joining from today. Thank you for the heart emojis, friends. And if you have any questions as it relates to charisma, we had a very detailed live about how to build charisma. So if this is something that you want to learn more about, Empire de Neuville, France, then let me know. Okay, so Empire de Neuville, France. Oh, I feel bad. I'm the only viewer. Oh, well, actually, so let me explain something to you. I know we're wrapping up the live. So the way that the live works, Empire de Neuville, France, so you it may appear as if you're the only user or only viewer, but keep in mind the way that YouTube works with the live, people come in and out all of the time. That's what happens on the live stream. So I've had other viewers, like I've had a couple of subscribers that came on to say hello. And so it's only, you may think it's only you right now, but there's other people that's been on here before. By the time I close this out and close out the live, it gives me analytics. And I'm anticipating it probably had 60 to 70 people have watched the video just on the live stream. But sometimes it just depends on when you come on. You may see one, the little person up there, this is number one, that may see one. But you may see 20, you may see 50, like for instance, now it says 2. So it just depends. That's how the YouTube live streams work. I know that because I've done live streams so much that YouTube invited me to be a member of their live streamer research panel. So I'm on this panel for the next year, and I'm here to really help them shape live streaming on YouTube because I've been live streaming that much. So that's only from just my experience from doing it. So that's one part of it. But then the other part of it is that my audience, and thank you for the heart emojis, friends, my audience watches the replays too. So it's not necessarily only live stream. I make my replays public and my audience watches it also, because here in the United States, it's the evening time, it's Halloween today. And so a lot of people are out and about, and so they may watch the replay of the video. So that's how the live streaming works. So I appreciate you being here and stopping by. Hopefully I gave you some insight to know that there's other people that have watched it. So for instance, like in this case, it says number 1 that you're here, but there's 4 thumbs up. So people have already been on here liking the video, if that makes sense. So that's how the live streaming works. I know it's a little bit different if you're not a content creator or if you're not recording live streams all the time, but that's how it is. So the videos are not only for engaging great people like yourself and having great conversations, but it is also for the replay audience too, because people watch the replays. Their videos are found via search and SEO and all those wonderful things for people to really go to the next level. Okay, so we have Empire de Neuville, Francis. I live in England. Halloween is already gone for us. Oh, okay. Well, welcome. Glad you're here in England. So England right now, it's early morning, I think, right? I know you all are many hours ahead of us. I'm based out of the United States, but I'm glad you're here, and I know Halloween's already gone. I understand. Well, I appreciate you being here, and absolutely, if you have any questions as it relates to charisma, I just had a pretty long live about charisma and how to build it. Specifically, if you are a woman in leadership, that's my audience I work with in terms of executive coaching. But if you are a man in leadership, there's a lot of great information you learn here. And this is just a great place for all leaders, regardless of gender, to learn those next level communication skills that sometimes are not taught to us as we are communicating. I help people be able to communicate confidently under pressure. That is what I do, because as leaders, sometimes we don't know how to do that. Okay, so Empire de Neuville, France says 55 a.m., now 56. Yes, I remember. Actually, I worked with a but a coach of mine. I had a coach that I worked with that is based out of England, out of the UK, and I worked previously, and I know that there's a little bit of a time zone difference there. So I appreciate you being here and being present. If you want to learn a lot about charisma, then you absolutely want to watch this replay. This replay talks about not just the fluff of charisma, but we go into the details of it. And this is what happens in the live stream. So I appreciate you being here. And if you like this information, feel free to like the video, and then you're always welcome to subscribe. I go live Tuesday through Fridays, typically in the mornings and in the evenings. This a little bit earlier than this time. That happens to be the weekend, so I tend to be a little live longer. So I appreciate you being here. But my videos really talk about those next level communication skills. So if you're trying to manage your emotions under pressure, control your facial expressions under pressure, manage your tone of voice, maintain eye contact, develop charisma, speak like a leader, speak more concisely, negotiate your salary, interviews. I really focus on those very hard communication situations, difficult conversations, etc. That's my expertise. That's what I love doing. Okay, so Empire de Neuville, France says, sure, I'll make sure to keep track of your lives and videos. Absolutely. Feel free to subscribe. I'll be happy to have you here as a part of our group. And Empire de Neuville, France says, sounds interesting. Yes, there's a lot of information here. If you really are serious about trying to communicate at a higher level, and maybe you have a big impact you're trying to make on the world, or make in your businesses or in your community, in your country, and etc. There's certain types of communication skills you have to develop. And so I talk about more of those exceptional communication skills, so that when you're communicating with other people as a leader, you stand out from everybody else, because I'm sharing with you strategies that average people that are in leadership roles do not do. So I'm glad you all were here today. I appreciate your support as always. Thank you so much for helping the channel get to over 500 subscribers. That is amazing. Feel free to share this information to your colleagues and your friends to help them communicate at a higher level than their peers too. And if y'all have any questions specifically as it relates to charisma or anything related to leadership and communication, feel free to let me know. Learn from my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a manager, a director, a public speaker, to help you go to that next level. Okay, so Empire de Neuville, France says, I've just realized also. Okay, awesome. Well, fantastic. Well, I appreciate you being here today, and I appreciate everyone for joining. Appreciate my subscribers for coming back to say hello, and I appreciate you all, and I hope you have an absolute amazing weekend, and I will see you all next Tuesday when we go live again. All right, let me see what's going on in the chat. Okay. So Empire de Neuville, France says, I should change my name to Empire of New France, as my current name translates to Empire of New France, and it's easier to say. Well, it's your channel name, so it's whatever you want it to be, okay? Ultimately, in the whole world of YouTube and social media, you can have your name whatever you want your name to be, because it's your name. So if you want to change it and it translates to that, that's fine, but ultimately, it's your name. It's your name, and it's whatever you want it to be. If that's what you want your name to be, the way that it is right now, then keep it. Then keep it that way. I know sometimes when we are in the social media world, we're like, oh, I've had people, believe it or not, I've had conversation with prospective clients about names. And I know this is off topic, but I've had conversation with prospective clients about their name, and how sometimes when they have, or they say their name or have it on a resume or have it on social media, they feel not like they want to have that name, if it makes sense, like they want to change it. And I always tell them, look, you have to have the name that you are happy with. And if that's the name that you want, then that's the name it's going to be, and everybody else will have to learn how to pronounce it. That's just what I would say. But ultimately, it's your decision in terms of what you want to do. All right, Empire de Neuville, France says, indeed, and I guess so. Yes, it's whatever you want your name to be. Let that be your name. And everybody else can work around it, because that's the name that you chose to have for your channel. All righty, so Empire de Neuville, France says, anyway, I better get going. It's 1 a.m. now. All right, well, awesome. Well, I hope you have an amazing day. Appreciate those of you who have joined. I look forward to seeing you all next week, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye for now.